and welcome to Vlogmas day number 9. I am doing a 12 days of Vlogmas series and this is the 9th day and I'm going to be covering 9 daycare must-haves for your toddler. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Ginny. I am a certified teacher, doctoral student, and mom to 2 girls. Alice, who is my 2-year-old toddler, and Mina, who is my 1-year-old. Like I already said, I'm going to be covering daycare must-haves for toddlers. Now this is specifically for toddlers and not necessarily for your 1-year-old. Also, if you haven't checked out the rest of my 12 days of Vlogmas videos, I will post a link right up here to the whole series. It's a lot of fun and I have a lot of cool ideas for you. So I encourage you to check that out to see if there is a video that might interest you. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to my 9 daycare must-haves. Must-have number 1, labels. Of all the things that I'm going to tell you, the number 1 is actually labels. You will find very quickly that your child and another child in the class probably have the same jacket or shoes or lunchbox or water bottle. It is so important to have some good labels and to label pretty much everything. We label things with our last name because my thought behind doing that is the fact that eventually Mina will be going to daycare too, and I would prefer it be our last name rather than it saying Alice because eventually it will be Mina's. So we put our last name on everything, and for our daycare that's okay. There's a couple of labels that I have used. I have used Mabel's labels, and they actually do fundraising through my school's PTA for my daycare, and so I really like using them. They're basically like a sticker-based daycare label system, and you can pick whichever ones that you want. They also have really cute designs, and they print them on different things. I especially like their shoe tags. They're circular, and they work really well. A cheap option too for another way that you can do labels is I have the Brother P-Touch label maker, and you can actually just type in whatever you want to on there and it will print out the labels. They're not going to last forever, but it is an easy way to label things, and typically it does stay for quite a while. I've used those on water bottles, I've used them in clothing, so that's another option for you, is if you get that Brother P-Touch machine, you can label things that way pretty cheaply. And it's a pretty cool machine to have anyways around the house, because if you want to label anything else around the house, it's very beneficial to have. The second item that is a daycare must-have, in my opinion, is a solid water bottle. So there's any number of water bottles that you can get. This is the, I think, Simply Modern brand that I got at Target, but they actually have some that are metal on the outside and they tend to retain cold water a little bit better, but your toddler will absolutely need a water bottle, a good water bottle that is not only solid and sturdy in case they drop it, but also I think something important about the water bottles is that they're easy to clean, because obviously toddlers are going to be toddlers, they're going to get stuff into their water bottles and you want to be able to clean it quickly and easily. The third item that is a must-have for me is actually a wet bag. The reason for this is, being a toddler, getting dirty, having accidents, you never know what's going to happen at school, and I think having a wet bag inside of your daycare bag is always helpful for when dirty clothes get sent home because it started raining outside, or the clothes got muddy, or they had an accident and they needed to change their underwear. All of those reasons, it makes it so much easier for the teachers in your classroom to have a wet bag in your bag that they can toss things in. Of course, every daycare is going to do things differently, so they may have a preferred way that they do things, but I always enjoyed having the wet bag in here so that I knew, okay, well, if anything's put in the wet bag, it's stuff that's going to be washed, and of course I wash the wet bag too. Connected to the wet bag, my requirement number 4, and one that you absolutely should not leave home without, is a spare set of clothes. So here's Alice's daycare bag, and I kid you not, we always have a spare set of clothes in the bag. This is actually in addition to one spare set of clothes that she has in her cubby at school, but I just feel like it's better to have a little bit extra than wind up with your child having to wear loaner clothes because they had an accident or they got paint on their clothes or something like that. So for me, I think it's really important to have a spare change of clothes, especially if they're potty training. You want multiple pairs of underwear in their bag. My 5th daycare must-have, and seems kind of like an obvious one, but is a small size backpack. So this one is Alice's backpack right here. It's super cute. And it's very nicely sized to what it is that she needs. Like, she can actually wear this on her back. I'm gonna hold it up for you. It's smaller than a normal backpack. I actually got this from Pottery Barn Kids, and this is the small size backpack. So it's a good size for a toddler. I would encourage you not to get the mini backpacks though, because that just doesn't have enough room for what your kids are gonna be bringing home and taking to daycare and all the things you need to send in. So I would say get the small size, because then your toddler can wear it and there's still enough room in the bag for things to actually go. I really like the Pottery Barn Kids backpacks, but I recognize that they're pretty pricey. Honestly, any small size backpack will do just fine. My sixth item that I recommend, and this is primarily for daycares where you're bringing a lunch, like at my school that Alice goes to, she is to bring a lunch to school. It's not served for her just because there's a lot of dietary restrictions in the classroom, including Alice. She can't eat eggs. And that is actually a bento box. I'm gonna show you. This is one of the ones that we have here. It's Bent Go, and they are so cute, and they're perfectly sized, and they have a very sturdy seal on them. The inside is compartmentalized, and it actually is very well sealed. So when I actually seal it up, you can guarantee pretty much if there's any sort of maybe like sauce or anything, it's probably not gonna mix into the other compartments in here, which is really nice. It's insulated, which is also very helpful. So this is the Bent Go brand. I really like this brand. I've used a couple of different bento boxes, but this one seems to have really cute designs and is the perfect size for a lunch for a toddler, maybe even a little bit big. My seventh suggestion, and one that might seem a little bit strange actually, is a folder. This is literally just a basic folder, but we keep all of Alice's notes from all of her daycare days in here. And I love having this because then I can look back and see, oh, what was it that the day that they said that Alice didn't eat something, what is it that we made for her that day? I like having a folder with all of the notes from daycare in here. And so that's something else I like keeping in the bag. As you can see, it's a very basic folder for her teachers to send things home. Obviously, if your daycare has an app, that might eliminate the need for a folder because you actually have app access that will tell you all of those things. But for me, I like having this folder. It has a nice place for me to put all of the different documents for the whole year that I get from her teachers. Number 8, seems like an obvious one, but I feel like I have to include it because this is an absolute must-have, is easy off clothing, especially for toddlers. A lot of these toddler classrooms, they're gonna be working on actually encouraging your child to potentially start potty training if they haven't yet, or supporting them in their potty training abilities, which involves having easy off clothing. If your child has buttons or zippers or things they are not comfortable opening, it should not be things that they wear to daycare. And if you work at a daycare, please chime in below too, any of your pet peeves or things that you're just like, please parents, don't do this, because I want to hear from you and I want to have your feedback down below so that we can share that with others. But for me personally, I never dress Alice in anything that is going to be difficult for her to take off or for her teachers. The last one, which is I guess kind of a silly one, but is very, very important, is a full container of wipes. Don't send sample wipes, send a full container. And this is actually true regardless of whether or not your child is potty trained or not. The reason why is because wipes are used for so many things in the classroom, and having those packs of wipes is so helpful for your classroom teachers and for your child. Obviously, if your child goes number 2 at school and they're potty trained, they're still gonna need wipes that they're able to clean themselves up with. Wipes are used for so many different things, so I just say send the full packs, not any of those little sample packs, and not even the refill packs. Just send the full pack in there with them so that those teachers are equipped to deal with any messes that come up in relation to your child. So those are my 9 quick and dirty must-haves for daycare. I would love to know if you have a thing that you're like, this is the one thing that I bring for daycare. Please comment down below and tell me, because obviously this is my first year that my child is going to school, and I'm kind of learning as I go and trying to give you my tips that I have, but I know some of you are probably more experts at daycare than I am, and I would love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful for some of you, and if you stick around for Vlogmas day number 10 tomorrow, we are talking all about board books, which is one of my favorite things to talk about because obviously as a teacher, I love to read. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.